How can you localize where in the heart an ischemic event is occurring simply by looking at an ECG? Well, let's take a look. So we need to begin by drawing up a heart. So we're going to draw up a huge heart here. There we go. There's our apex pointing towards our left hip, right? And what we need to draw up is the aorta. This is where the blood leaves the heart from that left ventricle, and we're going to draw up our coronary arteries. So we first need to look at the main coronary arteries and what parts of the heart they feed in order to move forward. So we've got our right coronary artery, our left coronary artery. Let's start with our right coronary artery. It's going to be exiting, moving down the right side of the heart. It's going to have various branches, and we're not going to draw up every branch, but it's also going to have a branch that moves down the back. So this is the dotted line is behind the heart, and it also can give off a branch like this. When we look at the left-hand side of the heart and look at the left coronary artery, it's also going to have some branches like this, and this branch here can also move behind the back of the heart. So this isn't obviously an extensive drawing of all the coronary arteries, but what I want to highlight to you is the following. We have our right coronary artery and our left main coronary artery. Now, this is our right coronary artery, right? It also moves down the back, the right coronary. So right coronary artery is all of this. But then here, this branch here at the back, this is called the posterior descending artery, okay? Posterior descending, the PDA. Now, when we look at the left main coronary artery, it has this branch here, which we call the left circumflex, and this one here, which we call the LAD, the left anterior descending. So that's the posterior descending artery, that's the left anterior descending. All right. We've drawn that up. Next thing I want to draw up is the following. We're going to take this heart, we're going to do a transverse section, look down into it, bird's eye view. Okay, so let's draw this up. There's one there, and there. I know they don't look identical, it's not a big deal. And what am I drawing up here? These are the hollow ventricles. So these are the ventricles of the heart. Remember, cross-section, bird's eye view. Right ventricle, left ventricle, right? And we're going to look at it in 3 different ways. So firstly, let's draw up some of these coronary arteries. So draw up an artery there, an artery there, and an artery there. And let's do that for all 3, okay? All right, now what I want to do is talk about, of these 3 coronary arteries, what are they associated here? All right, let's start with this one. This one here is our left anterior descending. This is our LAD. Now remember, this is the posterior, right? So that's the back of the heart, that's behind, and this is the anterior at the front. Anterior, anterior, anterior. Okay, so we've got our LAD, which is this one here, okay? We've got our LAD. Now, what does the LAD feed? The LAD feeds the left ventricle, or the left ventricular myocardium, and 2/3 of the septum. So there's our LAD. It feeds the anterior wall and 2/3 of the ventricular septum, or the anterior septum. All right, now what we've got is, let's do this one here. This is our left circumflex. So that's this one here. What do you think it's feeding? Well, it's feeding the lateral wall. And it can feed parts of the posterior wall. So that's our left circumflex. Then we've got this one at the front. Oh, sorry, we've done the front. We've got this one at the back. And the one at the back is going to be what? The right coronary artery and the posterior descending artery. So it's this here. So what does it feed? Well, it feeds basically all of the right ventricular myocardium and a bit of the posterior wall and a little bit of the inferior septum. So that's our right coronary artery and posterior descending artery. So have a look. Now we know of the major coronaries where it feeds the muscle of the heart, all right? So now we can see them anatomically. We see where they feed the heart. Next thing we need to do is break the heart up into walls, okay? So what do I mean by walls or sections or areas? So effectively, if we have a look at this heart, we can go, okay, I know that the septum, right, is going to be located. I'll draw it up like this. Here's the septum. So that's going to be the septal wall, okay? So there's the area that basically corresponds to the septal wall of the heart. Then we've got the anterior wall of the heart, right? So here's our anterior wall of the heart. Then we've got our lateral wall of the heart. So here's our lateral wall of the heart. And then we're going to have the inferior wall of the heart. And then behind is our posterior wall of the heart. Now this is important because when you look at an ECG, right? You look at an ECG and you see something that looks like this in one or multiple leads. You go, uh-oh, here's an ST elevation, which might be representative of an ST elevated myocardial infarction, which means there's a full thickness ischemic event, right? So the full thickness of the muscle wall is dying off effectively, right? And it's showing you where by looking at the ECG trace and going, oh, is it V1 and V2 or is it lead 2, lead 3 and AVL or AVF or whatever it might be, right? So when you look at this STEMI, you might go, oh, there's an inferior STEMI or there's an anterior lateral STEMI, right? Or there's an anterior septal STEMI or there's a posterior STEMI. So that's how now we're going to put it all together. So let's first start with the septal. What if we have a septal STEMI or a septal STEMI or an ischemic event in the septum, right? Septal. What ECG leads is going to give us that best view? Well, we need to draw them up now, don't we? So if we were to draw up firstly the precordial leads, these are V1 to V6, right? The chest leads. So let's draw these ones up. So remember, it gives you that perspective around the heart. So let's draw this up. How are we going to see this? So we need to draw this up. We've got V1, V2, V3, V4, V5, and V6. So there's our precordial leads. But we know we've got our limb leads as well. So let's draw up some of these limb leads as best we can. So we're going to have, down the bottom here, AVF from the foot. Lead 3. Lead 2. Lead 1. AVL. Okay? You've also got AVR up here. Okay. So we've got all this. Now we go, okay, I see this ST elevation on an ECG and I go, okay, what wall's been affected? Okay, so if I see the ST elevation in V1 and V2, if I see the ST elevation in V1 and V2, it's given me an idea that it's an anterior septal Anterior septal or a septal STEMI, right? Okay, cool. What if I see it in V3, V4? If I see it in V3, V4, it's telling me, oh, it's more anterior. Now, very rarely would you likely see just a septal. You probably see anterior septal. So you might see V1 to V4 telling you it's anterior septal, right? But it doesn't matter what we're highlighting here. We're looking at trying to make it as simple as possible, okay? It's never this simple, but we're making it as simple as possible. So if you see ST elevation V1, V2, it's septal. V3, V4, giving you an indication that it's anterior. What if you see it in V5, V6? What do you think it might be an indication of? Lateral, right? V5, V6. Now let's keep our eyes on lateral. Is that the only thing that looks at that side of the heart? No, we've got lead 1 and AVL as well. So you can argue that lead 1 and AVL is giving you a view of an anterior lateral. So all these anterior lateral STEMI. Okay, what about inferior? What's looking at inferior? Well, it's going to be lead 3, AVF and 2, right? It's inferior. It's under the heart. Lead 3, AVF and 2 for inferior. 3, AVF and 2. All right, what if it's posterior? What leads show us a STEMI on the posterior wall? So let's write this down. Are there any leads on the posterior wall? No, not for a 12-lead ECG. There's no posterior leads. So what you might see is a reciprocal change, meaning in the leads that are opposing, giving you the opposite view, right? It's going to be the opposite. You might think, what? Okay, so if I were to have leads on the back, I would see a STEMI on those leads. But let's say we don't. We only have the leads on the front. Which leads would be the opposing perspective? That's where you're going to see the reciprocal change. So if it's a posterior STEMI, you might see a reciprocal change in V1, V2, V3. So you might see reciprocal changes in V1 to V3. What those reciprocal changes would be is not ST elevation, but ST depression, right? Now the thing is, you can get posterior leads. They're V6, 7, and 8. V7, 8, and 9. 7, 8, and 9. So otherwise you will probably, if you put them on, 7, 8, and 9, that's where you're going to see that ST elevation. All right, now let's correlate that with what vessels are likely blocked to cause each of these events. So you see a STEMI in V1, V2, you go, it's septal, but what blood vessel is feeding the septum predominantly? The LAD. The LAD is predominantly feeding septal. Okay, what about anterior? Okay, so we said we saw an ST elevation in V3, V4. It's anterior. Well, you can see the LAD there, right? But you can also see the LAD is most, if not all, of the anterior wall. So the LAD. What about lateral wall? We've got the left circumflex here for that lateral wall. So we've got the left circumflex. And you could argue maybe some lateral branches of the LAD. Inferior. Oh, okay, inferior. Well, it's going to be that right coronary artery. That right coronary artery. Now, you could also say a little bit of the PDA might do it as well if it's a long enough branches. So you could possibly say RCA and PDA, right? What about posterior? Look at the back, posterior, there's that PDA. So again, RCA and PDA. RCA and PDA. And you can see that here, right? RCA and PDA. All right, important point. If somebody has a right coronary, if they're predominantly of right coronary circulation, this is going to be the case. So what I'm saying is this, 90%, 80 to 85, 90% of people, they've got right coronary artery dominance for that right side, posterior side, and so forth. In 10%, what feeds the posterior and inferior is actually the left circumflex, because this left circumflex can move around the back and actually go longer, right? Move around the back and actually produce the PDA. So 80 to 90% of cases, the PDA is produced by the right coronary. In 10% of cases, the left circumflex produces the posterior descending artery. So depending if somebody's right dominant or left, the inferior and posterior may be right coronary caused or left circumflex caused. And that's pretty much everything I want to go through. So a nice quick run through, but high yield, a lot of information. I'm Dr. Mike and I hope that helped. Hi everyone, Dr. Mike here. If you enjoyed this video, please hit like and subscribe. We've got hundreds of others just like this. If you want to contact us, please do so on social media. We are on Instagram, Twitter and TikTok at Dr. Mike Todorovic at DrMikeTodorovic. Speak to you soon.